Well, you know what? I'm going to make this official. Pittsburgh, Jensen and Jared Conway. So the boys, big venue. Yeah. New town. Yeah. Everybody like this. You let everybody this one.
That's larger. It's almost a major trailer. Who's first time? Welcome to the family. Sorry to take so long to get here. Well, you guys are so thinking about, so I'll just participate probably about that. Thank you guys. Whoa! Good taste. Right there. How's that? Consider the third one. Well, it's a back in Pittsburgh. I had the fortunate opportunity to be here for a few months back in. I think it was in 9. It was 08. See, I did it in 02. However, I was really the fans on the cup, and I was I understand the logic. It was the same time I jumped in the sports all bets are wrong. All bets are wrong. Here's my logic. My logic is the same hiatus I did for other teams. Yes! I had mentioned you yet, and I met in July 08, and the good first week, October 08. I didn't mean to really drama, but I didn't mean that bad when I'm playing the right way, but that's right. What's that? That's right. That's right. I feel like you're sitting very close to it. Sorry. So weak about I love you. Years. So when I'm sitting there, when the pins won't up, a great time, good to see you, glad to be back. Are you looking at the Mayan calendar? No, Mr. Thomas, I'm not. Something exchange rate or something? Yes. Yes. 09 before Brexit is what we also happy 200th anniversary. Jared said happy 190th anniversary. I'll say 200. So, yeah, y'all are our, sorry, something like that. Y'all are our final stop before season 12. So, our first day round is Tuesday. So, tomorrow this comes off. Interestingly, for Jensen, this comes off and this comes off.
And then the shirt goes back on. That's how that works. Very costume.
There's no way I'd rather be here with you guys. So, thank you. Love you guys. The hand clappers, their hands have to. It's kind of heavy. So kids in the tantrums, the clap. This is the dance clap.
If you're happy and you know to clap your hands. You can pull it up. I listen to I'm a subscriber to the old Apple Music, and I basically just go with like either random lists. They've got a pile that I like workout lists. That's fun. And if I get tired, so I kind of just switch to a different one. But it's mainly farm stressing. And like a little burnt backpack, but that's just I'm really needing my back to push. So yeah, those two I highly recommend. They have been clapping songs too.
They also have to clap. Thank you very much.
By the way, Jerry, Jensen's my favorite, I'm sorry.
He's my favorite too.
You're welcome. My question for both of you is, what is on your bucket list? Like when you're done, ready to retire?
Jensen, I think she said you're her favorite.
Bucket list for like before
Before you kick the bucket.
I die. It's like when you're talking about me personally, or like before the show.
After the show, before you die.
Before I have the show, after all, yes, okay.
It's a bucket. It's a bucket.
I didn't, I don't know, it's like a show's bucket list. I'm going to you guys before the show. What kind of bucket like one by one?
She just must know your list of favorite buckets.
Steal, obviously, crushing that.
Before you die.
Rubber paint makes a good bucket. Tupperware, maybe the stainless steel, the general hole, pretty well. Jared?
So, on my bucket list is to use Sir Jensen as your favorite.
There are things that I would like to do that I think I probably won't do. Like throw on one of those squirrel suits. and
There's a squirrel suit here, actually. Where is it? Where's the squirrel suit that was here? The squirrel outfit.
they got the photo. We're good. We're on the game. I don't know. I'd like to do, I've done a lot of traveling, but I'd like to do more traveling that isn't involved with work. That's certainly one thing.
Yeah, I think kind of in the same vein as squirrel suit. I've never moose suit. And I just got up through the woods running the trees. I'd like to start out. I've never skydived. I've never been skydiving. Skydiving. I've never skydived. There are a lot of things. So for our honeymoon, after meeting in 08, doing the filming with my buddy Jensen, we hiked Machu Picchu, and I really enjoyed it. And we almost went hiking in Kilimanjaro, but my wife got pregnant. There's a lot of elements in the audience. So I got to have Kilimanjaro and hopefully make it to Everest Base Camp. This is not those in
My name is Abby, and my question is, at the end of the 11th season, Dee sees Mary, and the last time we saw Mary as Mary was back in season 1 when she was haunting Sandy Dean's house. So I was wondering what the two of you would like to see in Mary's relationship with Sandy Dean, as adults rather than children.
That's funny. We had a meeting with Andrew Dad, our new showrunner, and Bob Singer, and we talked about the same thing. And I think what they said is last year, season 11, was so big. You know, we had God, we had Lucifer, we had the darkness, who becomes Mara, God's sister. And so, one of the things that we've noticed the fans really like is the relationship between Sam and Dean, and when they're on the same side. So I think this year, at least in the beginning, I think this year we're going to explore a lot of what makes the boys tick. You know, it's funny. You see people from the past, and you're like, oh my gosh, seeing you, I remember where I was in my life when it happened, and I've grown a lot. This might explain a lot. So we're going to kind of get into more, I don't want to say emotional, but more getting into the minds of the boys. Because you finally see them with their parents, you know? So I think we'll learn a lot about who Sam and Dean are, who Sam and Dean thought they wanted to be. Maybe more Dean than Sam, because Sam didn't know his mom. But I think it's really cool. It's not just amazing. So.
$200 episode. 200.
Oh, 200, of course. Yeah. You were there. You're closest to one giant episode.
Hi, Tom, sorry, we're fighting. Usually that's about the time that one of the crew members goes, hey!
Hi, my name's Maggie, and I'm kind of sorry for what I'm going to ask you, but
Oh God.
We can't hear you. Can y'all hear
Yeah, that sounds like that way. And so we're getting the bounce off of that wall. Say something again.
my name's Maggie. I'm awkward.
You're awkward?
Did you say popcorn?
I was wondering if you guys could choose a stripper name, what would it be? And
No stripper name question.
Do you have an idea?
what?
Share.
Yours is going to be Cher? Mine is going to be...
Sam and Dean.
Everything's bigger in Texas. I'm realizing in hindsight that she's trying to show us your moves. I thought she yelled, show us your moves.
Apparently everything is a bigger picture.
What just happened? What would yours be? What would yours be?
Oh God. Well, you can do the name of your first pet and the street you grew up on, and mine is Put.
That's even better than I
Oh, you want to go with that old formula? Well, in that case, not a word of a lie. Mine would be Pudgy Midway.
Okay. Mine would be Bootsy Larkland.
Thanks for that.
Love everything you do. And my question is, what is your favorite audition story?
Audition story? Here's a great audition story. For all of you actors, thespians out there, and non-thespians alike.
It's just a story.
And some popcorn. I had an audition. I was doing Gilmore Girls. I was probably in the original Dean. And I was auditioning for, I don't remember which one it was, but it was a Mandy Moore movie. And nothing against Mandy Moore. And I want to say it was at the University of City. I don't know if you know the same thing. And during the audition, so first off, the casting director was, 10, 15 minutes late. Didn't kind of say like, hey, sorry, I just walked in. She's like, okay, Jared? He's like, yeah, paddle after out. And I go in, and she proceeds to. What's that?
That's a lot
We can actually hear you better now.
Oh, nice. So she proceeds to eat. So she has her size, and I'm like, Jennifer, like, but you can't leave me because I love you so much, or whatever the lines were. I'm sure it was a good.
That's some of the funniest ones.
I've been practicing this summer. And so it's some like cheesy love scene, or whatever, romantic scene. And she's eating while reading her lines, and she's like, oh, Jonathan, well, I really have to go. And I was like, no. And she's eating, and a phone rings in the room that we're auditioning. The phone rings, and I sort of stopped the audition, and go like, I kind of looking for her at the phone, like, are you gonna answer that or something? And she goes like this. She stands up and she goes, yeah, go on. And goes and answers the phone and is like, hey, I'm like, no, Jonathan, don't leave me. And then like this, and I'm like, no, I feel the sirens calling. Yeah, I'll call you right back. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, okay, I'll call you right back. And then continues her lines, and I'm like, this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. Scene finishes, and I was like, do you want to do it again because the phone is up? And she's like, no, that was great. Nice to meet you. And I was like, I wish I could say the same, but it was very nice to meet you. Needless to say, I did not get the role. Jensen.
I had an audition for a very, very big movie.
Gilmore Girls?
No. And it's one of the biggest casting directors in Hollywood. So I wanted to, and so I wanted to really, really nail it. And I studied the material, and I had it backwards and forwards, and I knew what I wanted to do. And I was like, I could totally get this. I gotta nail it. So I really worked hard. Was all ready to go. Went to the casting office. Was waiting there. Was getting myself pumped up. Was seeing a lot of familiar faces of people that had a lot more experience than I did. Didn't let it bother me. Was just like, nope, I got this. I got this. Finally, they called me in. I walked in a big, giant office, and there she sat behind her desk. She kind of quickly looked up from her glasses, gave me literally an up and a down, and then goes, have a seat. And I was like, yes ma'am. So I sat down, and I was like, I'm gonna nail this, I got this, ready to go, here we go. And she goes, so, puts her glasses down, puts the script down, and she goes, what are your thoughts on the AIDS epidemic in Africa? Huh? Is it other news? Is it new scene? And she's like, no, I'm asking you. I was like, it's awful. And she's like, okay, whenever you're ready. And I was like, what? I didn't get that role. So I guess the moral of the story is be prepared for everything.
Thank you.
That wasn't just Misha.
Right, and weird.
Misha, I said Misha.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Honestly, it was awful. I've been in those same shoes to a degree, and I was, and I think I told the story the first time. There was a scene where Cassifer, as we called him, that's what it was written in the script. It said Cassifer, Cassifer. And there's the scene where Cassifer is trying to figure out how to get Dean back from the submarine, and then he realizes he doesn't need to. And Sam realizes that Cassifer is actually Lucifer in Cassie's body. That was my first scene with Misha as Castiel as Lucifer. And we shot that scene, and I didn't once mess with him. The whole entire shooting of that scene, I didn't mess with him. And at the end of the day, I was like, great job, man. And he was like, really? Because you were kind of throwing me off because you weren't fucking with me. But he's like, because you weren't picking on me, I thought maybe I was messing up or something. And I was like, no, I wasn't picking on you because you were really doing a really good job. So, and he was like, you didn't want to mess it up. And he's like, you pick on me every single other day I've been here. What are you trying to tell me? I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I did not envy his position this past season. Trying to do anything after someone like Mark Pellegrino plays a role and it kind of sets that tone is never something I would want to be a part of. So the fact that he was even willing and capable of doing so is, I think, speaks volumes to his talent. I'll never tell him that.
And y'all better not either.
But Jared and I were both we were both impressed and proud. So.
Thank you. Sam and Dean have done that you don't think rings true to the character, and what have you done in those situations?
Just, I call the writers and say like, okay, so her name is Amelia, okay, and Sam is looking for his brother. Why? We got through it. Yeah, or, you know what, that was kind of, I was just being cheeky, but there are times when my vision of Sam isn't necessarily what the writer's vision is, and I try to think of it at this point like this. There are situations that Jared is going to be in that, you know, if you ask me right now, hey, do you ever think you'll encounter blah, 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 or be in a situation where you have to make blah, blah, blah choice, or where you do something and you make a mistake, or you do something and you make several mistakes, and be like, no, why would I do that? And then you end up in that position, and you're like, oh my God, okay, I didn't see this coming, how do I move on? How do I get to the next step? And so that's one of the really nerve-wracking things about acting. You don't guide the story. One of the really cool, you just have to, you know, trust who you're with. I'm convinced that I can be honest to Sam no matter the situation. So when something happens and I don't necessarily love it, I just try to think of, you know what, Sam doesn't probably love it either. So make sure Sam shows that or feels that or, you know, act that. So I just try to make sure that no matter the situation, and it happens often where I'm like, oh man, I wouldn't want to do this, but all right, Sam's going to make a decision that is not textbook Sam, but it's still a facet of his personality, and kind of go from there. Because humans, we as humans end up in that position. You're like, I never thought, blah, here I am. Okay, what do I do? And so I try to kind of like weave them into the fabric of Sam.
There's really never been anything because the writers wouldn't do that. they hold him in too high of a regard. So really ever.
Why didn't he have that hammer? Why didn't he use a knife or something?
For those of you who don't know the Hammer story, look it up. Yeah, very similar to Jared. We've actually, he and I have had to sit down and like, I'll give you a little anecdote here. There are many times when lines themselves just don't sound like something that the character would say. And we have many times just been like, that's the Sam line. And he's like, all right, I'll take it. Or it'll be, that's a Dean line. Like, I got it. And we'll just flip lines. There was one scene, like almost the entire scene.
Yes!
Where I'm not kidding, an entire scene between Sam and Dean.
He's not
where we just simply said, it's as though they got the names on the script wrong. And we didn't ask for permission. Because still giving the audience all the same information that the scene was written for, we flipped every line. Like literally, we just scratched out Sam, put Dean, and scratched out Dean, put Sam for the entire scene.
That is
and it actually read so much better.
That is an absolutely true story.
What episode?
It was one of the later ones. It was one of the later ones in London.
Yeah, it was recent.
With Cass or Rob or something.
Yeah, and it was. I just remember as we just kept reading, it was like, this is.
Yeah.
What if we just flipped every line?
Yeah.
And we read it that way. We're like, yep, done.
And it was almost comical. It was like, I think so. Possibly. There was something in the letters.
What happened?
I forget, but I think like the lines were so obviously the other person's lines. Like Dean had a line that was like, "Do you like my long hair?" And Sam had a line that was like, Sam had a line that was like, "Shut up, little brother." It was almost like they were playing a trick on us. Like, haha, where's Ashton? We're getting punked. It was a weird, like,
Nobody remembers that show.
I do.
Yeah, so there you go.
Thank you very much.
I'll say I'm sorry for screaming Crowley.
Carrie?
And I just wanted to ask if you guys had like an embarrassing or really funny story about when your kids were together or separate if you don't have one.
Oh yeah, where do we start?
I have a very sweet story. So our kids go to the same preschool. And Tom is a year older than JJ. So I guess there was some time where the 2-year-olds and the 3-year-olds or 3 and 4, however old they were at the time, they were all playing in the playground at the same time. Like classes go, it's like, hey, this class and this class goes to the playground. They come in these 2 classes. And Jay Bird's class and Tom's class ended up in the playground at the same time. And Tom and JJ are friends. And so JJ started to like play with Tom as opposed to people in her class. And I think one of the guys and one of the kids in Tom's class was like, you can't play with us, you're little. And so she got really sad and started crying and walked away. And so Tom just went and played with her and left his class.
I've now taught her to just throw a left hook.
Sure you knew how.
It's not a story, but yesterday? No, 2 days ago. Yeah, it's 2 days ago. I was driving. I was taking JJ to gymnastics class, and it's Friday. And she asked if Tom and Shep were going to be there. I'm like, no, honey, this is gymnastics class. We're not going to school. And I'm like, do you miss Tom and Shep? And she's like, yeah, and Quiet, who another one of our friends has a little boy named Wyatt, and she calls him Quiet. And I'm like, do you like Tom and Sheppy and Quiet? And she's like, yeah, they're my boys.
The proper response when your child says they miss Quiet is to go, I miss Quiet too. But then you came around and your little friends just noise.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
The scene you felt most emotionally connected with your character in?
For me, it's really easy. It's sacrifice. That's season 8 finale.
Yes. You remember.
What's Salvation? Was Salvation an episode? I'm making stuff up.
Yeah.
First season.
We're supposed to be connected to.
Yellow Fever.
There was an emotional commitment.
That is my
There was
favorite.
an emotional commitment.
That is my favorite supernatural tattoo I've ever seen.
Is my face doing the scaredy cat? It's a good one. Gosh.
So scared.
I'm scared. There was, I wasn't necessarily like, personally drawing from any of my personal experiences, but the scene with when Dean was talking to Chuck for the first time, that took on a whole different tone from the way it was originally written, and there was something about talking to him instead of like somebody who, as like another hunter or somebody that he's angry with for having not been around when people needed him or whatnot, and it was more about a son who was talking to a father who abandoned him. And when I looked at it like that, it just hit a chord within me and really struck me and got me emotional. And I think Rob could probably attest to this, that even when the cameras weren't on me, there was still emotion just pouring out that I couldn't stop, because there was something about that scene and about what the subject matter was that just really, because I think about my own, myself, and my father is an amazing father, and he's lucky as hell to have it. But I guess I think about those that maybe don't have that, and I think about if something were ever to happen to me, that I couldn't be that for my daughter. And so I think a multitude of those things kind of really connected me emotionally to that particular scene. So yeah, sometimes it happens when you don't think it's going to happen, and boom, emotion. Thanks.
A while back at a convention, Catherine mentioned that she showed you what memes are, and she said that she showed you how to make them. And I have a friend who really, really wants to know how you make them.
She showed us both. We still don't understand.
I have no idea.
I sent a meme out today on the Twitter.
But there's like, a buddy of mine was showing me that there's apps that you can work, because like I have some friends who I'll send a text message or something, and it's like, boom, immediately there's a meme with like the perfect comeback and like the perfect saying or the whatever. How do you just have that? Where do you get this? There's an app for it. Of course there is. So, yes, Catherine showed Jared and I a few things with technology and social media and our smartphones. None of it sank in.
None of it's stuck.
I'm not even sure I know that I'm pronouncing meme right.
There you go.
That's right.
I called it a meme earlier.
Why is it called a meme?
Because English.
Huh?
Because of English?
The E is silent.
Why is it called meme? Because English.
Brexit?
Language. The second E is silent.
Oh, because it's, okay.
So it's men.
Because English, dork.
You mean because English is messed up?
Yes.
So there's not like a root or something?
Not that I know of.
It's not like Latin. He's gonna try to break it down to Latin.
SPN family, please welcome one of our own, Miss Madison. No pressure. There are a couple thousand people watching you, so don't mess up. No pressure.
I was wondering if there will ever be the possibility of Sam and Dave doing a case in West Virginia.
I've never done one in West Virginia. Maybe they just got, maybe everything's cool over there.
Have we ever done one in East Virginia?
I think they've been to Virginia.
A lot of people don't know where we're at anything.
West Virginia?
You don't even know where to stay.
Hey, Jared.
Come on, don't you?
I don't know what you're gonna do, but do it.
Please.
Please do it.
Please do it.
I don't know what it was, but do it.
Please do it. I think St. Jensen was the capital of West Virginia.
That's what you're gonna say?
Yeah, that's what he was going to say. He's going to call me out. Does anybody here, no matter, does anybody here,
Does anybody on stage know the capital of West Virginia?
Give me 1 second.
You just whispering shit. Louisiana?
As robotics at work
We broke that down on the cap.
Yeah, hometown man right here, just nails it.
Madison, I guess this is our answer. If you and the rest of our family here in the audience continue to support the show in the way y'all have, and we do another 241 episodes, I'm sure we'll get to West Virginia at some point in time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us today on this beautiful Sunday. We love hanging out with y'all. We love hanging out with these guys. Thank you so much for making this possible for all of us. It is a great pleasure to be here with you today. And I think, just maybe, we'll be back here next year.